Hello everybody, Rebels of Cloud9 here. I am very excited today to get to open this up. This is my first time opening up this kit. I'm very excited to have in my hands the new F-14 Tomcat from Tamiya. This is their new 72nd scale kit. It is beautiful. I absolutely love the box art that they've designed up here. The 48 scale F-14 is one of the best kits I've ever built. Possibly the best kit I've ever built, with the exception of a few things, minor details. I would almost consider it a perfect kit. It's 99.9% perfect. And so when they announced this one, I was kind of excited to see what they were going to do since 2016 when the first one came out. So yeah, I got myself one of these. Picked it up early thanks to Sunward Hobbies. They are selling these here in Canada. I will include a link in the description down below if you want to check these out and get one for yourself, because you're going to want it. So we get 5 options with this kit. We've got some of the artwork here on the bottom. Here we have a Black Lions, VF213. Let's flip it around here. We've got VF101 Grim Reapers and, VX19 Vampires. So this all black scheme. I was kind of surprised they threw that in there. We also get a Bounty Hunter, which I built in 48 scale, so this one doesn't really appeal to me as much since I've already done it. And you also get another Black Lions in a low-vis scheme. So here we go. It's the first time I'm opening it. Oh man, that is awesome. That is awesome. This is almost identical to the 48 scale kit. I built 2 of the 48 scale kits. It is such a fun model. I cannot imagine if you don't have one of the 48 scale, it's too big. You know, it takes up a lot of space, surprisingly. This is definitely going to be the kit for you. So, what I really love about this, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open up these parts and take a look at them one by one. So, let me get set up here. I'm so excited. Okay, here we have sprue D. So, here we have the wings, the wing sections. This is very, very identical to what was done in 48 scale, just shrunk down quite a bit. The details on there, they look very, very close to being the same. Let me just adjust my light real quick. There we go. It's kind of weird, actually. It's kind of deja vu, but again, smaller. The detail on there is exceptional. They've got this tiny little up and down pattern in here. It's perfectly replicated in there. It's crazy how nice it all is. We have the slats here. So there's 2 slats that are going to come with this. These are for the wings extended, and these are for the wings, or vice versa. Yeah, these are for the wings retracted. They do have little tabs in there. So right, and then there's a little silhouette of the wings retracted, and here's left with the wings extended. So these are really nice as well. They're very helpful. These arms here, they will be fixed into the model, and then this open section here will simply slide right on over there. Makes it so easy. You can paint the wings separately from the body. You don't have to worry about getting the paint inside of here, you know, as you've had to do with traditional older models. It's absolutely makes things easier for you. Then we have this big plate here. This goes, and this will be screwed down to the fuselage, and then these 2 sections here will be screwed down through these openings here on the gears. So that's what those are for. Very, very nice. Okay, here we have sprue F, and just looking over these parts, it's so weird. It's like I mentioned this before, it's just like a weird deja vu. It's like I've seen all this stuff before. It looks so similar, but where I've seen it before, it was slightly bigger than this. Well, twice as big as this, I guess. This is a lot of the parts here for the D model. It's kind of interesting is this here, this is this section of the sprue. There's a lot of parts here specifically just for the D. I'm wondering, because this is usually a connector piece here that Tamiya makes, when they insert a separate mold in here, that leads me to believe we're going to be getting an A and hopefully a B later on here. So that is really cool. So we have the pod here down on the bottom. We've got the arms here for either I think these are for the pilot. We've got a bunch of the instrument panel detailing in here and the sidewall details, and oh man, they're really sharp. You can really see and feel all the buttons on there, so that's excellent that they've kept that detail in there. It's really impressive as well. Something that is new, this is really cool, and something I wish that they would have done. They've broken down these parts here, so these go on the back, so the nozzles basically fit around here on the Tomcat, and these go on the sides of the nozzles here. Masking over these are usually a different color. They're a darker kind of a metallic gray brown color. It depends on the Tomcat and the time and who is using them, but they're usually a slightly different color. And I have to admit, masking around those, taping them up, it wasn't difficult, but it would have been nicer if they were separated like this. It would have just made things a lot easier that way. So this is really interesting that they've separated all this. We've got some wheel chocks in there, which is kind of cool. Haven't seen that since the 32nd scale kit. We have the cockpit tub. Again, it looks just identical almost to the 48th scale, minus the inclusion there of the foot pedals. They're already molded in there. Yeah, and then here we have the cockpit tub here. It'll fit on top of this piece here, and if we flip it around, it's the interior of the nose wheel section here. Looks really good, my goodness. And then here on this sprue also, this little frame here, these are alternate parts for the D as well. So we've got the different pods on here. We have a different side here for the vents for the cannon. This little control here on the bottom here that goes for the Rio on his console. So I didn't actually notice that. So this is F, G, and H. So yeah, F and H are two separate sprues with different parts. You also get, this is the front where the intakes go. So the intake scoops go right down below this. So this is where they would actually step to climb in. These are slightly outward more. They have different sensors in there, so they're not as smooth as as earlier models are. So again, it's interesting. They've done a very interesting parts breakdown of this for alternate Tomcats in the future. Very cool. Looking at the upper half of the fuselage section now, it's just, again, I can't get over how beautiful this is. This is a single shot part, and just look how great they've done this. It's just impressive. It's just amazing. Now, originally in the 48 scale, this comes in two sections. It's divided right here with this split down the middle there. A lot of modelers at the time were asking, is it supposed to have this edge on here? And they were trying to smooth it out, thinking that it was an error that Tamiya had done. I remember a couple of guys were filling it in with putty, and it's actually supposed to be that little slat right there. It's just incredibly done. Here on the underside, we've got some of the interior parts for the wheelbase here. It's just incredible how, again, the finesse with this model is just so impressive, how they got everything in here. It's a lot of it is even more impressive than the 48 scale kit. So you can see they have this panel here in the back removed. This is where the air brake would go. It's different on some of the earlier Tomcats, so I'm kind of wondering, are we getting a very early Tomcat? Oh, well, only time will tell. This is where the bladders will go, and they fill up with air to create a seam, and they deflate when the wings are retracted. So it looks like we're going to get raised and deflated airbags in the back there. So that is also really cool. I just can't get over how beautifully they've done this. All the details in here, all the little bits with the with all the attention to detail with the scribing in here, all these beautiful recessed panel lines. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. Here we have our side light right there. Oh my goodness. I honestly just can't get over how, like I said, I built 2 of the bigger ones, and to see that same level of detail, which was exceptional, just shrunk down half the size. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm looking here at the lower section. Equally as impressive as how did they, you know, shot this all in one piece. We've got some flat edges here on the side of the sprue. So if you flip it on its side here, you can see they did some slide molding, and oh my goodness, it's impressive. So this is the pin joint, or the opening here for the shoot. Brain no worky right now. The tail sections. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot what they're called. Anyways, I'm just going to move on. The rest of it is just, again, really impressive. We got more of the interior here for the wheel bay. So right here in the back is where the landing gear will sit. And this is a model you do not need nose weight for. It is perfectly able to sit on its own. I don't know if this is the same thing, if it has enough weight. I imagine it does. That it doesn't need it, but that'll be interesting to see in the instructions later. But yeah, just look at how they've done all this stuff in here. Everything is nicely packed in here. I don't detect any warping whatsoever. Everything looks exactly level in the way that it's supposed to be. It's just incredible. We've got all this nice, again, all this nice recessed detailing down the middle here. So these are the some of the pylon sections for some of the armament. And then we've got here, this is the position for the arrestor hook. And then the lower fins will sit in there. It's just great. This is one thing I really like that Tamiya did, is these fins are separate. It makes painting them a lot easier. You paint them separately, you don't have to worry about overspray, you just paint them separately, stick them in, and you're done. It's one of the things I absolutely loved when I was building this, because it just made things so much easier. Alright, I gotta be very careful here with the clear parts, because this back half of the window is gonna fall off here. It looks like it's been rattling around or something hit it, possibly when it was being bagged. But crystal clear. You know, Tamiya has amazingly clear parts. Again, we've got some slide molding in here. So this end here is perfectly rounded in just the right way that it's supposed to be. It curves inward here. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a very subtle detail, but the canopy is not rounded. It actually, towards the center here, it pushes in a little bit, so there's a little bit of a bump right here, a little recession right here, sorry, in the middle of the canopy, and they got it. It's very, very subtle, but you can see that in there. If you have this, take a look at it. Again, it's very, very subtle, but they kept it to scale. This is really cool. Here we have some of the alternate detail, or not alternate detail, smaller parts. They're alternate parts for the D models, what I meant to say. So we have a different sight here in the front. I don't know why there's 2 in here, but one of these, is one rounded? No, they're both flat. So one of these is for the forward pod under the nose. This little box down here are lights that go on the landing gear, on the front landing gear. And then moving on to the back here, we have the forward windscreen. And it's again molded in one piece. This is identical to what they did in 48 scale. And what I really love, it's got these 2 bracers in here. They use slide molding once again. The seam is hidden in the frame here. You don't even see it. It's just completely hidden. It's really cool how they figured that out. There is a faint seam line on the back here that does need to be removed. Now there's a antenna inside of here. It's on the inside though, but there's a very faint seam line here. very, very faint. If you didn't want to remove it, I would honestly say leave it. It's not really too noticeable. You catch it in the right light, you can definitely see it. But if it's something you don't want to stress out about, I would honestly just say leave it. Don't worry about it. Also, there's a little bit of detail on the inside here. There are all the hooks to keep the canopy closed. These were separate in 48 scale, so it's kind of interesting they've done it here, molded together there. That definitely is going to make things easier given the scale. So that is really interesting how they've done all that. So you get two of these in the kit, two identical sprues of these. This is again one of these kind of separate sprues, so there's a whole bunch of different parts here for different versions of the Tomcat. So yeah, based on this, it does look like I would guess that they are going to build some more here. So in this main section here, J, this is basically very common parts that you're going to find on all versions of the Tomcat. We've got the elevators here, and it looks like they are molded in one big piece this time instead of two separate pieces, which is very cool. We have the drop tanks. They're molded exactly the same as they are in 48 scale. We have this intake here. Instead of being in two pieces, it's one piece. And it's, oops, sorry, it's hollowed out there. Got a section of the tire there. Moving down below here, we have some of the armament weapons, as well as some of the other pieces. These are different pylons that you might need over here. The wheel for the late version Tomcats. The D had quite a different wheel set than the other ones. We got a little pilot helmet here, which is very nice. I didn't know if this came with a pilot and a Rio. I'm really happy that it does. I think that's great. Here we have sprue M. This has the more modern ejector seat that the D had, as well as a modernly detailed pilot. Well, I say modern, I mean modern for the time when these were in use. So that is really nice. Flipping it around over here, we do get the back of the can here, for the afterburners, and the nozzles here. Nozzles look like they're just done the same way that they were done with the original D model. They're just one size, and they're kind of half open, half closed. So if you're wanting something more particular, you're going to have to look elsewhere on the aftermarket. But they are really nicely detailed, and they've got some great, just some really great detail molded all around here. It's just fantastic. I can't get over this. I am literally like, I shouldn't be this astonished given Tamiya's reputation and everything, but it's just, wow. It's when you have it in your hands, you're gonna see how impressive it is. The other nice thing is they include all the armament. I really appreciate that, because someone else, who I won't mention necessarily here because I don't want to feel like I'm talking down to this particular company, they sell these things separately, and I don't know why. I wish they would have included them, but they don't. But Tamiya does. The detail on them is quite nice. You can go a little bit further and drill out some of the back openings in here and just make it a little more accurate. But yeah, for just what it is, it's really good. They're going to look really sharp on the kit. I don't really see a need to replace these with aftermarket personally. Your preferences may vary than mine. So, okay, we're coming close to the end here. This is the last of the parts here, and we have, of course, as you can see here, the nose section looks really sharp. Again, really great detail that they've done in here. Similar again. It's nearly identical to its 48 scale older and bigger brother. We have the section here for the refueling probe here. That's the panel for it right there. This is, you can have it open, you can have it closed depending on what you want. How do you want to display it? We have this panel section removed here. This is for the cannon. Of course, they were different with each Tomcat. And then we have these two squares here. They are the padding, little foot pads for the pilot and Rio to climb into the aircraft. And this one here is the ladder section. So that is very nice that they include that. as an option with this thing. Here we have the airbags or bladders, depending on what you want to call them. These are the depressed ones or deflated ones, sorry. They are lowered here, and I don't know where I guess I missed the raised ones somewhere on the other sprue. Oops. But yeah, we've got that there. This is part of the interior of the intakes. So here we have the refueling probes. One's extended. I think this one is just meant to be put into the side here. So that's actually new. I don't remember. Drawing a blank if it was extended or not. None of it really matters. Again, we got some slide molding here on the sides of the intakes. This is more detail here for the wheelbase, so this is all going to be painted white. They are really nice. They're just as nice. They're really, really sharp. So be careful with that. You might damage those if you're not careful when you're cutting this out. This plastic here on the edge is very, very thin. Here we have the lower fins, which look great, and on the back here we have again an alternate sprue junction here. So these are the later style fins with the reinforcers added there on the side. So that is also very nice little detail. Yeah, we've got some here. We've got part of the back section. This is where the beaver tail will sit on there. These are the air brakes there. So again, just a lot of stuff that they've crammed in here. I can see like this is the probe here, or not probe here. This is where they shoot out the fuel, the spare fuel that they need to for landing. So this is kind of interesting how they've done this as one piece. They've done a really interesting parts breakdown compared to the 48 scale kit, but in a very good way. They've made it more manageable for the smaller scale that it is. And I think that's really cool and impressive that they've done that. They've taken the scale in mind, or they've rather kept the scale in mind with ease of assembly for the modeler. And that is just outstanding, as typical it is with Tamiya. So one of the last things in here is this bag with a screwdriver, a couple poly caps, and some screws. The poly caps are for the elevators, so you can move them up and down, which is a really nice little feature to have in there. I really appreciate that they've kept that in here. And moving on over here, we have this amazing color guide, painting and decal guide here in full color. It is, wow, this is impressive. This is really, really cool. I think this is bigger. This actually looks a little bit bigger than the model. Let me just see that real quick. Is it 72nd? I can tell better with the tail. Yeah, it looks like it is 72nd scale, or just a little bit bigger. That's really cool. So yeah, here we have bounty hunters from the Constellation. This is all in Tamiya colors. They've done AS and LP, which is nice. Looks like they've gotten rid of XF. So if you need XF, you're going to have to go find these same things with the 48 scale. They have those in there. Here we have option B, which is the Black Lions. This is absolutely beautiful. This is a Cagbird. This is really, really cool. I absolutely love this scheme. I really love this bright coloring that they have on it, this brighter gray. Sad they don't use that anymore, or didn't use it anymore. And then flipping it around, oh, sorry about this. It's really big. It's a really big fold out. So here we have the Black Lions in low vis, which I really like. I'm kind of tempted to build that one. Here we have a Grim Reaper, which I'm also tempted to build this one. Looks really cool. So it's from VF 101. And then we have the Vampire in the back here, which again, I have to admit, I'm also kind of tempted to build this one as well. I don't know which one I want to build. All I know is I don't want to build a Bounty Hunter because I've already done that. But yeah. And it's not like there aren't plenty of other companies out there making aftermarket decals for these sorts of things. So this is very, very cool. This is the type of thing you're gonna be done with, and then you're gonna pin it up on your wall because it is so cool and so beautifully done. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at the decals. Now I had to basically obliterate the bag to get these things out of here. They were basically the exact width of the bag. I could not pull them out. So what's also really cool in this little packet here, you can see we get some maskings here. So some of these are going to be for the intake assembly. There's a white to whatever the exterior color is. And these are some different, they're special stickers. These are cut out, which is nice. This is a reinforcement panel. It goes around the pilot's step, so that's where that is. I can't remember where this one goes. I'm drawing a blank on that one. But it's really nice that they include these in here. Yeah, it does look like you have to cut them out yourself. So they've been doing that a little bit lately, where some where they're pre-cut and other ones where they're, you know, kind of like that. Let's take a look at the decal sheets here. Oh, that's a neat surprise. I didn't know about this. Okay, that's cool. So we've got some sweeping effects here for the wings. I did not know they were going to do that. And I have to admit, they don't look half bad. I prefer to paint them on the way that I did it, but if you're not up to doing something like that, these aren't, yeah, these look pretty good. They're really nice. Very thin? No, maybe not as quite as thin as I thought. They're a little bumpy. They're not bad. We get a bunch of different decals here for the cockpit, instruments, and all the little different details in there, which is really cool. Here we have the lions. This is for the low-vis version here. That's really nice. And here we have all the stencils for all the weapons. So we've got for the Sparrow, for the Lantern, for the Sidewinder, Phoenix, and the GBU-12. So there's quite a bit on here. All of these here, these little lines, those are for the nozzles. So if you're going to use those instead of hand painting them, good luck with that. I wish you the best. That's quite a bit to do. And oh, look at that beautiful sheet. Oh, that is glorious. My goodness. So here we've got the bounty hunters on the top. Absolutely fantastic. The black lion. I absolutely love it. These two here go on the drop tanks, so it's a little extra detail on there. Here we have the Grim Reaper. My goodness, that is cool. And the vampire. So, it took me a while to actually know what this is. It's a bat upside down with lightning bolts. I always just saw it in like really, really tiny pictures, and it wasn't for till, I don't want to say quite a while ago, but a little while ago I was like, oh, it's a bat upside down. I had no idea. I had no idea what it was till, yeah, a couple years ago. So these look great. I know there's people who don't like Tamiya decals because they are quite thicker. They can be difficult to use. But honestly, these feel really nice. I mean, a lot of it is preparation and application. I've had easy results with them sometimes, and I've had more difficult results with them at other times. It all depends on a lot of things. But certainly preparation before you apply the decals, good solvent, they go a long way. Something I've just noticed on here is really cool. Right here is 15. Those are the decals for the helmets, and 57 are the other decals for the helmets. So that's very nice that they've included that in there. This is excellent. And sadly, we're coming up on the end of the kit here. We've got this information sheet. Something that Tamiya's been doing for quite a while now. So, Japanese, English, German, and French, I think. So, quite a bit to read in here. It's really interesting stuff that they cram into these things. Some nice little pictures here. Tells you what all the stuff is here on this nice little chart here. So you can go have a good read through on that one. And let's take a look at the book of instructions here. This is a big thing. How many pages have we got in here? 23. Oh my goodness, 24 pages. Ooh, excellent. So here we have A, B, C, D. Of course, 5 options. They're very nice to read as usual with Tamiya. I absolutely adore Tamiya instructions for how clear and easy they are to follow. And I really love that they have everything labeled out here as far as color guides go. Yeah, here we've got the assembly of the geared sections, I guess you could call them, and the inner wing supports. So that's very nice. And let's see here. I'm not going to go into these into great detail, but it's to me very interesting how they have broken down a lot of these parts. So here are the here's for the intakes, like I was talking about. So you paint this white here, you mask it off here like that, and then this rest is going to be whatever your fuselage color is. So it's really nice that they include those in there. And this is what I was talking about with these, with the back here. So these are different colors here. They're different metals or coverings that they would have on there. And this is all basically one piece in the 48th scale kits. So it's really nice that these are separate. You paint these up, glue them on the side here, put this panel on, and it covers up right there and fits into that little plate there. Super easy. Absolutely, I absolutely love this. That's such a great addition to cleaning it up, making it easier to build. It's just fantastic. That's something I really wish was on the bigger 48 scale kits. It's more manageable because it's a bigger scale. It's nice that they've done this in the smaller scale. Just like I said, for ease of assembly, it's really, really nice. Yeah, here we got the wheels and the landing gear. Landing gear look, again, it's crazy how much of this just looks so identical to in the bigger scale. It's just insane. And oh, that's what that decal was. I was wondering what that. So 261 is for the flares on the bottom. Oops, sorry. I was wondering about that. I thought that's what it was for, but I was very curious about that. That is interesting. So here we have decal placement for the wings here, so you can get those nice faded effects on there from the wings being open and closed. I really love that they've done that as an inclusion. I can't remember if they did that with the late A model. I have a feeling maybe they did. I know that Academy did that with theirs, and people were really excited about it. Here we have our weapons layout. It's important to double check with these things. So this is the weapons layout for each fighter. So A, B, C, D, E. So you need to pay attention to those, because it's not like you can just, you know, oh, this weapons layout looks good, I'll put it on the Vampire. It didn't really work like that. It's important to check that out. It's also important to check out what time period they were. A good place to go, there's a lot of Facebook groups where you will run into people who were, they worked on F-14s or they flew F-14s, and they would be able to tell you in a heartbeat what they did and didn't use. It's a really easy way to go about doing that. So here we have some of the pylons. Here we have weapons and detailing the weapons as well as the pods. And the pilot and Rio, I'm so happy they included those in the kit. I'm so happy about that. I think they look so good with the figures included in there. And yeah, I remember looking through the parts initially when this was announced, and I didn't see them. I was kind of disappointed, and I'm really glad that they're in here. So that'll be, yeah, that'll be about it. Oh, here we go. So here you can see this is how much is supposed to stay on the windows, but this is inside of the windows. So there's a seam line that runs down the whole thing, and you can go ahead and sand that off. So you don't worry, you're not going to sand those off unless you're doing this on the inside. Yeah, so don't sand the inside. This is a bit of an error here. I do want to correct this. They say X23, which is clear green or clear blue. I always get those mixed up. Yeah, they're listing it here as clear blue. It's actually a green-blue color. The best ratio I can tell you is 2 parts clear green, 1 part clear blue. It's very lightly painted on. It's very, very, very lightly painted on there. On the real Tomcats, it's very hard to see it. It's not very obvious. You gotta kind of be in the right light to really see the tinting. I've seen a lot of other companies, and they're like, you just paint it clear green and it's this bold green, or you paint it clear blue and it's just, no, it's very, very light. So very, very lightly paint that on there. And again, that is 2 parts clear green, 1 part clear blue. It's almost identical. So just keep that in mind when you're doing that. So yeah, these are not glued down. But I didn't see the raised ones anywhere. I only saw lowered ones. That's kind of weird. I guess they are there. They do mention 2 in there, but somehow I missed seeing those initially. They're there, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, you don't have to attach these parts on here. You can have them separate. I glued them down because most of the time the aircraft is going to be with the wings stowed backwards. I might leave them out on this one, to be honest with you. Simply because it's more manageable. Once the 48 scales get all the weapons added onto them and you glue the wings on, the model becomes weirdly difficult to handle because it's just so big and kind of awkward, and there's a lot of delicate parts around the nose and everywhere else. But I mean, mine fell over and I had minimal damage on mine, so I mean, it's sturdy. So there you go. So yeah, let me go put the parts back and get some final thoughts on this kit. So one thing I want to mention here before I wrap up this video is there's a slight error on the box art here, and it's very, very, very minor, but it's something kind of cool, I think, and that is the refueling probe here. You see the red part here is this panel in the back. Now, if they knew that they were going to be refueling in the air, what they would do before the flight, they would take off these panels and this entire refueling probe would be exposed down here. And the reason for that is with the earlier Tomcats, they had issues with this panel coming off and dislodged, and they were worried it would go through the engine there. So they would always remove them. It's actually kind of interesting if you look at some Tomcats, especially later ones, you can actually see this panel can sometimes be an entirely different color because it came off of another Tomcat. So it's just kind of a funny little detail that I think that is included in here. They definitely wouldn't have had this back then with the later version Tomcats. But anyways, I digress. That's incredibly minor, but it's just something I think is really kind of cool. Just some final thoughts on this model is just wow. I am blown away by this. When this was initially announced, I wasn't as excited. Not because it's Tomcat or anything like that, you know, repeat. I initially wasn't as excited because I was hoping for an F-14D in 48 scale to complete the family tree. I'm still hopeful that one will come out someday. Looking at this thing, oh my gosh, I honestly can't get over how nice this model is. If you have not built the 48 scale kits because of money, because of space, because of time, there's quite a bit of commitment to building one of these things. There's a lot of details to do. If you haven't done any of that yet because of those reasons, get one of these instead. It's a lot smaller, it's not going to take up as much space, but you are getting all the joys of building the bigger scale Tomcats just smaller. This is incredible, all the detail that they've thrown into this. In a way, I'm kind of glad my detail airbrush is broken. Otherwise, I would be starting this thing right now, and I can't take on another project, but God knows I really want to. This is an exceptional model. I'm absolutely blown away by how they've improved some things slightly around this. They've made it easier for the modeler. Some of the things that were a bit of a hurdle when I initially built the bigger scale ones isn't as much a hurdle, isn't going to be a hurdle when you're building this one. It's fantastic. This is so amazing. You're gonna want to get one of these. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. I am just thrilled to have one of these. This is actually something I should probably say out loud. I was actually thinking about getting another one because I can't make up my mind on the decal schemes, and I kind of like a couple of the schemes in here, so I was thinking maybe I should just get myself another one eventually, and I'll have two to build at a later date. But if you want to get yourself one of these, go check out, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I picked this up from Sunward Hobbies. They got them in early, and they were very helpful in helping me to order it. They have incredibly fast shipping. It's absolutely amazing how fastly they'll get it from by the time you place your order to when it's packaged and out the door. They have a very fast turnaround with that. I will include a link to them and exactly to this kit down in the description below, so you can go check it out there for yourself. And for the rest of you, oh my goodness, yeah, go grab one of these things. Just do it. Just do it. I know they're pricier at the moment. It's still a kind of expensive kit, I gotta admit. But there's so much crammed in here. It's, like I said, it's all the joy of the big 48 scale, half the size in 72nd scale. It's amazing. I cannot get over this. I cannot wait to see this thing next to built up, and I want to have it posed up next to my big Tomcats. I can't wait to do that. This is such a cool model. My goodness, Tamiya. When you think they can't get any better, they somehow do. That's the Tamiya story, the Tamiya legacy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have bought this kit for yourself, or you're going to, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and your impressions on this thing. And yeah, if you're hesitant about getting this, just go get it. Just go. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna take it to bed and sleep with it under your pillow, and you're gonna have beautiful F-14 dreams all night long. And then you're gonna wake up and, was it all a dream? And you look under your pillow and go, oh, it's real, it's all real. The Tomcat Fairy left me this magnificent model and I must build it right away. Enough of my fan fiction. I'll see you guys later. You guys take care.